Hello, my name is Stephen Arakshan, student X250754. I'm presenting a decentralized PeerCode platform. I'll walk through my project and the deployed app, the Devopsec pipeline, and the key feature and the findings. Middle-like structure and the code processes. The platform attacks the review and dimensions and reputation scoring and the quality forecasting. All deployed through the CI/CD pipeline running age security and the quality tools of the push technology stack. The backend is a Spring Boot 3.2.5 with the Java 17 and the security authentication. Data is a pusher SQL 15 on AWS RDS. The front end and the React is 18 and the white. The backend deploys the EC2 and the front end S3, both via GitHub Actions. Tools, Spotworks, and PMT, Jaco, and the Drivey, Smith and Sonar Cloud, and ESL Int, and NPM Audit. Crude entities and features. There are four entities on the place at the board and the sufficient review dimensions and the repetition leave board. The app also adds a datability auth and the admin and the user nodes on the dashboard for the charts on the quality and the forecast features. And CI/CD pipeline. The backend is a CI runs on Jaco on the Snowworks and PMT drivers Minecraft and Sonar Cloud. Then CD deploys the to EC2. The front end CI runs ESL link and NPM audit and write cloud. Then CD syncs to S3 and let me know the live application. Here is the deployed app with the AWS S3. The URL is visible in the address bar. The login page has a demo credentials buttons for admin, allies, and the file. I will log into the admin to show the full access features. And this is a dashboard with this 4-star cards and the total submission, reviews, users, and the pending reviews. Below are the submissions by language bar and the chart and the status dimensions, distributions to the donut chart. The code submissions page is a 8 submissions with a title, language, status, author, and date. Filter lets you navigate to the status per language. Will me create a new submission. First, I will submit the form entry to the demonstrate the validation. Validation error appears. Title is required, code is required, invalid language selection. The front-end uses Yuk validation and the back-end uses the Jakarta Bean validation for the server 6 side. Submission button is created and appears in the list as a pending review and status of my username as author. The detail page shows that the source code with the language match and the review selection button. The submission has been updated and the title now shows the hello world updated. The submission is deleted the cover of all 4 crude operations of the create, rate, update, and delete. The review page lists all peer reviews and the submission name, reviewer, average, score, and date. The 4 review dimensions: readability, performance, security, and maintainability. Each scored 1 to 5, and admins can add, edit, delete, and dimensions. The leaderboard ranks user by contribution quality. Unless leads with 95 points, Bob is second with 16, admin is third. And colored ranks the badges calmly to review the process. The predict quality score takes a code length and the returns on the predict score. I entered is 150. The score 10 forecast and products and the future is a score 10. I request the 4 periods ahead. Now let me switch to the CI/CD pipeline. Now I will make a small code change and the push to the pipeline and I will show the complete flow. First, let me show the current button text. I am changing the button text from submission to submit code and then pushing it to the pipeline. And this is a front-end pipeline. The CI is the ESL int and the PS print and the RPM. The CI speaks to an S3. And this is the backend pipeline. The CI builds within Maven and runs on the Jaco coverage and the spot bugs, BMD, driving, Smatref, and Sonarcloud. The CI deploys via SSH to EC2. And this is how I achieve the icon boom. And here is the workflow of YAML, and I will explain you the CI operations for the start and finish. The backend workflow runs on the CI, UB2 latest and JDK 17 and ambient clean and verify the builds and the test with the Jago and spot bugs checks the bytecode for the bugs and PMD checks the best practices and employing and the security rule test and driver scans the critical and the high CVs and SMIC runs on the OSWAP and the top and the print rule set and so upload checks the quality gate. And the front-end workflow uses the Node.js 18 and npm CI installs the dispenses and the ESL int checks the React core and the white bills and the npm audit scans the vulnerabilities and the CI scans the disk folder of S3 and runs on the smoke test. This is how I achieved the item 3. I have the 6 findings, 3 static analytics, 3 vulnerability, and the fixes the show of this code. And spot bugs flag with the CWA20 info for and input validation is a register request Java. The fix the user at not blank and the size lines 20 to 25 and 30 for the username and the email and the password and string board enforces the when the control user is valid. PMD flagged information leakage through the exception of the stack traces in the global exception handler.java. The fix at the line of 20 users that tourist controller advice with the 5 handlers, then the return safe out saves the catch all the line 90 returns and the genetic error unexpected error occurred message without exposing the stack prices. Spotbug flagged that the CSRF disabled and the security config.java and a high and CSRF at the line offers a 45 because we use the stateless and JWT no session and the booking to explore. Session policy is the stateless and the line of the 48 and JWT is the Jared and the line of 62. And the driving also flagged the CWT20 input validation. The fix is the same register request.java with a not blank size and email constraints and enforces by the valid in the controller. The Sonarcloud flagged the CW916 weak password hashing of the security config.java, the fix of the line of 69 to 71, and the big crypto password encoder, and which uses the adapter hashing as a solve. At the line of 61, the old surface to Java password encoder and the encoder hashes the password before the showing it. Slang grep flagged at the A01-2021 broken access to the control of the JWT token provided to Java. The fix at the line of 41 creates an HMC as 2016 key and the verifying with the line of 66 to 80. At the checks that the token signature and the validation token at the line 77 and rejects the tampered or expired token. In JWT auth filter at the line of 48, the token checks that the prayer request if valid is the set the authentication context with the role of a base access at the line of 60. Yeah, the pipeline has been completed. The button shows that the submit code and confirm that the full CI/CD pipeline flow from the code changes from the production. And to wrap up, this is a platform that's developers submit code and the receive and structure review, track reputation, and the forecast quality, all secured by the Devopsec pipeline and the 8 tools. And the key takeaway is the definition of the depth in the spot bugs and the PMD, Travis, grip, and Sonarcloud. Each code is the different issues, and the no single tool will have found everything. And if the starting over, I would like to add the Docker and EC2 OSWAP tab and the dynamic testing and AWS secrets of the manager, 2 sensitive configuration and stacking the environment with the acceptance test. Thank you for watching and thank you and includes the presentation and decentralized PeerCode review platform.